Hey everyone, Sam and Hollis here.
People always say you should write about what you know, so we're here to talk about what we know.
And while we may not know everything, what we definitely do know is how to talk shit with our best friends.
And yes, you guessed it, that's each other.
We're ride or die besties, and we hope you'll join us every other week on our new podcast or something like that, where we discuss life, relationships, pop culture, and all the things you talk to your best friend about.
Tune in every other Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts, and let us be
your new besties.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, here we are.
Hello.
Hello. What's up?
How are you?
I am so good today.
Do you have some exciting news to
I
share?
have the most exciting news. I am a mother of a dog. I got a puppy. Her name is Suki, and she is the fucking cutest.
She's
thing
literally
in
the
the
cutest
world.
thing I've ever seen.
She's a teddy bear Shih Tzu. She's like
3 pounds.
Yeah, she's so tiny. She's so floofy. She's so adorable. And I've just never been happier. And I got her 3 days ago. And yeah, life's been exponentially better.
Yeah,
with
she's
her.
super cute,
She's
you guys.
so cute. She's sitting right here chewing on her little duck toy that Auntie Sam got her. Yeah, I'm just like really happy with my decision.
This is something that Hollis has been going back and forth about for a while.
Yes, for years probably.
Yeah, definitely since you moved back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I've been, really struggling because I live in an apartment. I don't have a yard. I do live in like a nice walkable neighborhood. There is like grass around, but I don't have a yard. So I've always been like, I was never really a small dog person either. I was always like, if I get a dog, it'll just be like, a regular mutt from the pound, probably. Like
Right.
I want a dog. And then a friend of mine had a little Shih Tzu, and I just fell in love with him. And I was like, this is what I need. I just need like a little guy.
A little guy.
Yeah.
She's so cute, you guys.
And she's the best. And a puppy
And it
is
didn't
just so
help
fun.
that me and her brother and everyone were telling her not to for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, pretty much everyone in my life, except for my friend with the Shih Tzu, was just like, oh, you're getting a dog? Why? Which I did not really expect. That's not true. My dad was pro dog, but my mom's not really a dog person. She's just
And I'm
whatever.
not a dog person. I'm just a not something else that I have to take care of person.
Yeah. Well, and that was a big thing for me too for a long time. I was just like, do I want the commitment of, having to come home every day?
But
and
if
take
you
care of
saw
thing?
this dog, you would commit
God.
immediately. You'd be like, where's the ring? I'll sign the papers. I'm committed.
And I'm only 3 days in, but I do not mind the getting up and taking her out in the night, and I'm excited to come home to her after work.
That's the
it's
best part.
fucking
Yeah.
best. So far so good. And I love her so much, and she seems to
She
like
will be being posted to or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You'll keep a
Instagram.
lookout for her.
So be on the lookout for pictures because she's the
Yeah.
cutest. Okay, I have some news to share as well. This is pretty exciting. My 1-year-old has taken her first independent steps.
What? Pew, pew, pew.
Literally 2 hours before I came here.
Oh my gosh. Seriously?
Yes. Yes.
So you were holding it in when I asked you earlier
Yes.
about the girls. You
Yes.
were just like, they're fine. They're fine.
We spent the entire day at Jumpin' Joey's, which if anyone knows is like a kiddie casino. It's like bounce houses and games, and I'm obsessed with this Nerf game, and then I get pissed when I can't break the high score.
I want to go with you sometime. It sounds legit.
It is legit because you and I can sit and play the Nerf zombie game, and we'll be racking up the tickets. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, except that we were gone all day, and I was basically holding her. She was in the stroller. She did crawl. I did. And don't come for me. Yes, the floor is dirty. I did let her crawl around on the floor some. She's just she's too little for the bounce houses. So, you kind of just got to tote her around.
Well, you didn't just toss your baby in the bounce house?
You can, but then I have to go in too. And that's not the vibe. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So anyway, we got home, and this is extra exciting because she's had some gross motor development delays. And so she's in physical therapy. And her physical therapist had given us this exercise to do where it's basically just she's standing up at the couch, and I just kind of move the coffee table away from the couch, and I put a toy or something that she wants to try to get her to take some steps back and forth. And she took 2.5 basically.
Whoa.
Full independent steps today, which is she's done where she'll like reach her arm across to where she's touching and then kind of step, which is still basically like cruising because her hand is on it.
Yeah. I love that they call it cruising.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Think about baby cruising.
Yeah. But today she took 2 and then like a little half independent step to reach the remote, which of course is her favorite thing to go after. So I was like, we're going to do that. So that was very exciting. We're very excited.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. Yeah,
Thank
especially
you.
knowing, that she had,
Yes.
I don't want to even call them issues because it's just like,
yeah, it's
how
just she had some
people-
delays and there's been no kind of like diagnosis or anything. I mean, it's just some babies take longer and need a little
that's
more
just
help.
how it goes.
And she's still in the range of like normal for walking. So
doesn't mean anything.
yeah, I mean, it was a little, of course, no mom wants to hear that. It was a little concerning in the beginning because, she wasn't really sitting as early as my first did. There, she didn't crawl until a little bit later. So she has been a little bit delayed and everything, but she has done it. It's just been on her own time.
Yeah.
So, but it was very exciting.
I kind of appreciate the vibe, honestly, that she's just like,
She's just, they call it lazy baby. Like that's literally what the pediatrician said.
For real?
Yeah. He
That's
was like,
awesome.
oh, she's behind a little bit. And he kind of felt and he's like, muscle, what did he say? Muscle density. I can't remember what he said, but he's like, everything feels good. He's like, we call this lazy baby. She's just a lazy baby. I'll refer you to physical therapy.
I mean,
was
that's
like, okay.
why she is my godchild. She's a lazy baby.
She's
and-
chilling, guys.
Yeah,
She's
it's
just
like,
chilling.
Why would I rush into any?
Yeah, no,
What?
no.
Why do I want to be independent when I could just have other people do things for
That's right.
me?
Yeah.
I get it.
She's
Respect it.
yeah. So that was exciting.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's so fun. What a milestone.
I know. And like, what a banner day for us.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, a dog and walker. Great.
Walker, Texas
What more
Ranger?
could you ask for? Or something,
Something
like that.
that.
What do you have for your spill it?
Okay, my spill it today. I have so many things written down from when I was traveling for work, but I will just read my top 2 off my list. My first one. Okay, when you order coffee and you walk up and there's that initial interaction, especially when there's like other people in line, do you say, "How are you doing?" Or do you just get into the ordering? Because this is what I've been stumbling with lately is like sometimes I go up and they're like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" And they're like, "Fine, how are you?" And they're just like, "Can we get through the niceties, just order?" And I feel like sometimes I'm like, "Just order. You don't have to be nice.
Right.
Just say what you want." And then I get up there and I'm like, "You must ask them how they are. You must be polite." And then I could tell they're annoyed. And
I try to just like fully go off their vibe.
Yeah.
Like if I walk up and there's like, "Hi, what can I get you?" I just order.
Yeah.
I'm not like, "Hi, how are you?" I think if they say like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" then I say, "I'm good. How are you?" And then I order. I just like go
you gotta
off.
read the room. Yeah.
You've got to read the room.
how
You've
many
got to
people are
read their vibe.
behind you.
Exactly. And more often than not, honestly, this day and age, I feel like people are just, I don't want to say rude, but they're not interested in the pleasantries.
Oh, absolutely not. And coffee shops are full of like the wokest of folks.
Right.
Who I feel like we've gotten past being nice, where it's just like, just respect my time.
Exactly.
You
yeah.
know? And like, we don't have to be, no one needs
I think
anybody
always
to be nice
a please
anymore.
and thank you, like that
Yeah,
kind of
for
thing.
sure.
But
And
the
don't
whole,
be a dick, but
yeah,
like,
the whole how are
the
you? It's,
pleasantries I feel like are pretty
Yeah.
2000 and late, as they used to say.
yeah, I think it just fully depends on.
Yeah. But I guess it's my Midwestern blood.
No, I hear
That like
you.
after, if I don't ask them how they are, I'm like, oh.
Now, if
Was
it's
I being a
something
dick?
like grocery store where they have to take time to check out your groceries, then I'm more.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "How are you? How's your day?" You know.
Oh my God, did I
It
tell
depends on
you-
how fast paced it is.
Did I tell you about the weird ass interaction I had with the girl who checked me out at Kroger the other day?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is one of those situations where, like, when you have an interaction and then you cannot stop thinking about it
Yes.
for weeks. So I was checking out. It was after a long day of work, and it was like 8 p.m. I was tired and pretty out of it. Was just like going in to get like a handful of things, and I went. They actually had like a checkout person, so I went through the lane. It was this younger girl. She was like very talkative, like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Good. How are you?" Just like normal niceties, but I wasn't like going on.
Right.
She was like, "I'm good. Did you find everything okay?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I did. Thanks." And she was like, "Oh, cool." She asked me something else. She's like looking at me a lot, and then I had this celery. I fucked up and I thought you could buy celery by the stalk. I guess you couldn't. So I just like pulled off 3.
You can, but it's in a different spot.
I know. So I was just like, oh, I'm just taking these 3. So she tried to check it out. There's this whole thing. So then I think she was like on to me. She was very sus.
She was like, this bitch is trying to like see what's
know.
going on here. She's trying to rig the system.
I know. So she was all like, what happened to your celery? Oh my God, what happened to your celery? And I was like, oh, I just needed the 3. I didn't need the whole 19 that come in a bunch. What the fuck am I going to do with 19 celery stalks? She was like, oh, well, I guess you could use it for chopsticks maybe. And I was like,
what?
A joke that just like didn't land, but landed for her. She was like laughing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's just fucking get this show on the road. And then she was like, but you find everything okay? And I was like, yeah, I did. You already asked me that. And she's like, but you're having a good night. And I was like, yeah. And then I started to be like, where am I? And she was like, and then she goes, because you seem kind of out of it.
What? The audacity.
I know. And also the way she said it was like she knew me. Like comparatively, she knew me like you.
Like she's seen you in it.
Yeah.
And now you're out of it.
Yeah. And I was just like, I was like, well, just fucking standing here. I was like, yeah, it's been a long day. What can I say?
Like, listen, I know I broke the celery. Okay. Like, I get it. Like, can we move on?
And then it was like, it was almost like she thought I was high or something.
Like on drugs?
Yeah.
And just like coming in, like breaking up all the produce and like trying to buy one celery because you're like smoking crack.
And then she was just, it was so bizarre. It was one of those situations where it was like, am I high? Like, what is going on? Like,
am I confused?
Dreaming? Yeah. I was like, what?
Am I confused or
like, I'm not acting
who's
weird.
being weird here?
I know, I know, am I weird? Because I was like, I'm literally just standing here answering your questions. I'm just not like, you know, going in on conversation because I'm tired and I really just want you to check me out and get the fuck out of here.
And like, what was she trying to do? Like coax some huge confession out of you about the celery? Like I already told you, I broke the celery off the bunch. Like, I'm sorry. What do you want from me?
I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm busted if I break the rules. But she also wasn't, she wasn't
like, focused on the celery anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. She moved on and it was just like, looking at me like, because you seem kind of out of it. And I was like, well,
that is a very strange thing to say.
And it's so weird. And then I was just like, she's like, okay, well, as long as you're having a good night. And I was like, if you ask me one more time if I had a good night.
I was having a good night.
I know. Exactly.
Till I came in here and started talking to you.
It was so fucking weird. So then I was just like, all right, bye. And then I got in the car and I was like,
what was that?
And then, I mean, I haven't stopped thinking about it for 2 weeks.
Right. And then you're like, think about all the things you should have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
In the shower. I'm just like, and another thing.
Right.
What business is of yours if I found everything? Okay. But yeah, it was so strange.
Bizarre. Which was it, the East Side Kroger?
Yeah. And it was like a young girl. I feel like she was maybe high school or like just graduated high school. Kind of seemed like, you know, over eager theater kind of kid.
Right.
But maybe that's just like she thought she was being funny or like relating to me or something, but it was not landing.
Yeah, it came off very strange
and
invasive.
Yeah,
very invasive.
Seems like you're out of it. Like, what are you implying?
Yeah. How did you respond when she said it seems like you're out of it?
I was like, I just kind of shrugged and I was like, I don't know. It's just been a long day, I guess. So I also just want to be like, I'm not interested in having a conversation.
No, I'm done. We're done here. We're done here.
Yeah. So I really just want to be like, could you just fucking check me out and let's just like wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Because I was, you know, cordial. I wasn't a bitch.
Right.
I was just like, oh, I'm good. How are you?
I just wonder I really want to know if the celery was the catalyst for that question or that comment about you being out of it.
Or it's like, I wish I could see like a video or picture of myself. Like, did I just look
like, did I walk in here like looking like,
strung out individual? I don't know. Maybe I did. I don't feel like I did, but
that's not your natural state of being. So I don't think so.
I hope not, but yeah. So that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
But tangent. Yeah. So obviously I've been thinking about that for weeks.
Well, of course, yeah. And just into infinity now. Like you'll be thinking about it 20 years from now.
Oh, and speaking of writing out something for weeks, a teenage girl told me I was pretty the other day, and I've just been writing on that compliment for weeks. So
absolutely.
The effect,
flying through the cosmos on that one.
Oh my God. The effect the words of teenagers have on full grown adults, at least
it's amazing.
Oh man. Like the scorn of a teenager cuts you to the core.
To the core.
And then a compliment, I'm just like, that's true.
It's absolutely
means
true.
I really am
Nothing's
pretty.
ever been truer. I'm gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's glowing.
She was also a very pretty teenager, so I was like, this bitch knows.
We're walking on water.
She had really great hair. She had obviously had done her makeup, so I was like, this girl's watched tutorials.
She knows.
She knows. And she just told me unsolicited that I'm pretty.
I had a similar moment when I guess she's, well, how do I even describe who she is? She's my husband's nephew's girlfriend. And we were at
uncle's neighbor.
we were at a family function, and she was like, sweet outfit. You're looking like a hot piece. I was like,
piece.
thank you. I was like, that's the goal. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, respect.
I appreciate it. And then my mother-in-law was like, what'd you say? And she's like, I told her she's looking like a hot piece.
Oh, hell yeah. The fun young one in the family.
Yes.
I love them.
So yeah, that was nice.
You are a hot piece.
Thank you. I'm trying. I feel like I'm coming into my hot girl era in my late 30s, which I wasn't really expecting for myself, but that's okay.
I mean, I feel like you were a straight dime and we were in our 20s.
I had moments. I
mean, you've always been in your hot girl era, but I know what you mean. I feel like the same. I feel like I'm finally
I think it's
like,
more of like like comfortable in your own skin kind of thing, you know? Like
100%.
that plays into it for sure.
I've
but
definitely found that in my 30s too.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
All right,
Okay, because I've got a good one.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Holiday World saw the 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Shut the fuck up. Wait.
And it's so funny because I went with a group of people, and my oldest daughter's like quite a bit younger than their kids. So we just kind of had to go off on our own because she couldn't ride some of the rides that they were riding. So it was just she and I. And I see this girl and I'm like, she looks so familiar. I'm like, where do I know this person from? I know her from somewhere, and I couldn't place it. So then we had a text thread going, and somebody texted, oh, Tammy's here, and like people are taking pictures, and it still didn't.
Tammy, like,
yeah, it just said
no
Tammy.
other...
Yeah, and it still didn't register to me that like that's who I saw and that's who it was. So we get back to the campsite, and I'm like, who is this Tammy person? And they're like, oh, it's somebody from the TLC show, 1,000-Pound Sisters. And I was like, I saw her and the sister. And I just couldn't place it. And I was like, yes, that's it. And I've actually never seen the show. The only reason I know them, and I've sent you this meme, it's the meme of her being like,
oh, the doctor.
Yeah, where she's like, you ain't pregnant, bitch, you just thirsty. When she's like saying, that's them.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've never seen the show either.
I haven't either, but they've gone viral online, you know. And so, yeah, celebrity sighting at the Holiday World.
Wow.
The 1,000-Pound Sisters.
Dang.
So there you go. Also, a new ick was unlocked at Holiday World for me.
What?
Men with their hands up on a roller coaster. Gross.
Full grown men.
Gross.
Whee!
Yeah. Yeah, awful. I was like, do not put your hands up. That is disgusting.
Was your husband one of these men?
No, he
Did
wasn't.
Kurt go to Holiday World?
No. It was just.
I was gonna say I would have been surprised if Kurt.
No, he stayed back with the baby. It was just.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was just my 5-year-old and me.
Cool.
You have any? I have a lot of spills.
When you sit down in a seat and it's warm from somebody else sitting in it, are you grossed out or are you like, ooh? I'm definitely grossed out.
I think it depends on my mood, honestly.
Really? See,
Mostly, I think I'm grossed out, but
I have never sat in a seat, and I always just thought it was an automatic gross from everybody until I met someone and they were like, oh, I love that. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I hate it. I have to get up and move.
Oh, I wouldn't get up and move. I think it depends. For me, I think it depends on my mood. And I think it depends on, like, the situation. Now, a plane.
I guess if I knew the person sitting in
if you
it
know the
before me,
person,
that's different.
Yeah. And it, like, if you're at someone's house. Now, a plane, yeah, that's for sure a stranger. And that could be, like, automatic ick. But
well, this was just in, like, the airport.
Oh,
where there's like a random seat. I didn't see the person get up. I just sat down and I was
and
like,
it was warm. And then you moved.
Like, barf.
Yeah.
I do not like that. That is one thing about me. I do not like that.
One thing about me, I don't like a warm seat.
And I did. I got up and moved to the next one over. And I won't always get up and move. You know, that's a little drastic, I guess, in all scenarios. But yeah, I don't like it. Now I was just curious if that was
Yeah. I think in airport, I would probably, I think it just depends. Like, at someone's house, it's not going to bother me. Yeah, I guess it's really just about, was it a complete stranger?
Right.
Or is it possible it was someone you know, or likely it was someone you know?
Yeah.
Or even, like, if you saw the person, which is, we probably shouldn't get into that.
I know, because then it starts to be judgmental. You're do they look gross? Or do they look fine? Do you suspect they were farting on the seat the whole time? Or
that's
is it just
the thing.
Yes!
That's the thing.
What we're not saying here is that you sit down and you're like, someone blew ass on this for hours, and that's why it's so warm. It's not
and
just
that's gross.
Heat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so not to like completely just transition into something completely off topic from that, but that's what we're doing. I'm very excited about the Creep tapes coming out. I know you're off horror movies right now, and that's a whole other story for another day. But Creep is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Ooh. It's Mark Duplass.
I love the Duplass Brothers.
Yes. So, and we're going to piggyback off of this into that. But yes. Okay, so Creep 1 is great. Mark Duplass stars. Him and his brother like wrote it, produced it, I think. Or maybe not wrote it, because the guy that starred in the original one, I think maybe wrote it too with him as he was the victim. Or maybe he directed it. I can't remember. But it's produced by their production company, him and his brother. And it's amazing. It's so good. The second one was very good too. Wasn't as good as the first one, but it was still very good for a second. It wasn't a sequel in the sense that it was a different person, different story, but still the same killer. So now the third one has supposedly been in the works for a while. It's coming out November 15th on Shudder. It's called The Creep Tapes, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Is Shudder a horror movie
It's
thing?
A streaming platform.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm absolutely thrilled. I can't wait. And if you have not checked out the other things from the two of them, I mean, obviously Mark Duplass got his big break on The League, which was a network show on FX back in the day. It's about fantasy football, and it was hilarious. It was very good. And then he had a show on HBO called Togetherness, which was amazing. It was so good.
I don't know why it didn't get picked up again.
Because here's the problem. It was competing with Veep and Silicon Valley.
Oh.
And I can't remember what the numbers were, but it was so stupid. It was like Veep and Silicon Valley had just over like 4 million viewers, and I think Togetherness had like 3.8 million viewers. And that's what HBO will axe you like on a dime. You know what I mean?
I love Togetherness too.
It was so good. It got 3 seasons. It was amazing. It was him, Amanda Pete's in it. The girl from Yellow Jackets. I can never remember her name. She's also in The Last of Us. She's Shauna in Yellow Jackets.
I don't remember the name from Yellow Jackets, but who is she in The Last of Us?
She's in The Last of Us. It's when they go into that city, and she's maybe only like in 1 episode, but I think she's going to have a bigger role. I can't even remember now because it's been too long, but she was in 1 or 2 episodes of The Last of Us. She's great. She plays his wife in that show. Gosh, we'll have to look up her name, but it was so good. So amazing. If you've not seen it, watch it. Unfortunately got canceled after 3rd season, but it was great.
Yeah, I forgot about that show.
Yes.
That was so good.
And then him and his brother did.
Melanie Linsky?
Yes.
Yes.
She's amazing.
So good. She's in a bunch of stuff. She's one of those actresses. I feel like she's finally having like
her moment. Yeah.
Because she's been in so many good things, and she's kind of always had supporting roles, and she's in a lot of indie movies, and she's a fantastic actress.
Amazing. Yeah, so good. So check it out if you haven't seen it.
She's also
great.
in Coyote Ugly. Small role.
Yes. I forgot about that. Yeah, she's the friend that gets married. Yeah. John Goodman's also in that, so there you go.
I mean, it's a good flick. And Tyra Banks.
It's okay.
It's not good.
It's terrible, but it's like so bad. It's good.
It's a throwback. It's from our age when it came out.
Coming of age. Yes. We were like, we want to be these girls dancing on the bar. Yeah. But yeah, so good. And then they had another show on HBO called Room 104.
Yes, I was just about to say.
Which is amazing. So good. If you haven't seen it.
Show.
Yes. It's like all the episodes are different, but they all take place in the same motel room. And some of these episodes are so fucking wild that it's like, I mean, it's insane roller coaster. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Some of them are more of a slow burn, but they're all so good. Every episode is just fantastic. They're great. So definitely, if you've not seen it, check it out. And then one of my favorite movies of theirs, The One I Love.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's so good. It's Mark stars in it with I don't know why I can't think of anyone's names. I want to say
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I see this all the time on streaming, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, love it. Can't wait for the creep tapes to come out.
Nice.
Definitely look into their work if you've not.
Yeah, I didn't know
so
they
great.
teetered into horror. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and I watched another one that I think they just produced it. And one of the girls that's in the league starred in it. I think it was called like Black Rock. Ugh, don't quote me. I can't remember. You can look it up, but it was okay. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. So and that was a horror movie. I think they just produced that one though. But
Yeah, talk about, they're so impressive. Just two guys who are great producers. Like everything they produce is awesome.
Yeah.
They're also really good actors.
Well, yeah,
Like, did
and
you
like
watch
the
the news?
range, Mark's
Yeah.
range, because
Did
in
you watch the NewsHour
the morning show,
morning show?
Yeah. He's great in that because Togetherness is really like a very 50-50 dramedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very funny, but it was very drama heavy too, you know? And then he does these horror movies, and like The League was just a straight comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, his range is amazing.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic actor. I
but
mean,
all their stories, if you want to call it that, are always so true to life. Like that's what I liked about Togetherness. It seemed like such a, I'm not married, but it seemed like such a realistic representation of marriage and everything that comes with it. And
it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Highly recommend.
There's a couple shows like that on HBO where I was just like, man,
HBO does
fuck?
great
Where I
shows.
was like,
their series are the best.
well, yeah, they are. But there's been a couple like that where it's like they're so good and then they don't get picked up again. And I'm like,
I know.
man. There was one with Laura Dern.
Yeah, they're cutthroat. Oh, Enlightenment.
Yes.
That was such a great
So
series.
good.
2 seasons. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, Laura Dern's fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
too.
she's, I mean, I'm a Jurassic Park girly, so always going to love her. But yeah. All right. Should we move into our meat and potatoes?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We're talking psychics.
Ooh. I don't know why I did the spooky sound because hopefully that doesn't offend
I
anybody.
just want to I want to get your take, what you think. And then I want to know, would you be interested in doing a reading together and then talking about it on the pod?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess my take on psychics, we'll start there. I didn't really give them much thought before you bringing up this topic. And I don't know, it's one of those things where I feel like I'm like kind of agnostic about. I don't believe right off the bat, I don't believe people can like talk to people the way most psychics say they do. But I also don't want to believe that that's absolutely not true either. You know what I mean? And then I know I sound very wishy-washy, which is like basically how I feel about most things in life, where I'm just like, well, this is how I feel, but I also feel like I don't know.
Right. Right.
So like, who's to fucking say? I also feel like the only psychics I have ever been exposed to are like the ones on TV
and
which
stuff.
are clearly, to me at least, phony.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be down to do. When you say reading, do you mean like a tarot card reading or like a like what kind of reading are you talking
I think
about?
more. I mean, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. I think we'd have to like kind of look into it because that's.
Well, first of all, I'm totally down. There's also one on like South.
That's been there
Walnut?
forever.
Yeah, that has that cool sign.
Yes.
I drive by it every day. And I was
She's been there forever. I think the entire 18 years I've lived in Bloomington or whatever it is now, she's been there. So yes, I think we could do tarot card. We could do, I mean, just a regular psychic reading. We could do past life regressions. I mean, I think we could do really anything. I think our best course of action would be to just research who's in our area and like pick the vibe that we're feeling.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's very multifaceted in, there's some people who are, I feel like they do tarot cards. there's some people who are psychics in the sense that I think you just come in and they kind of talk to you about like it's more like a horoscope reading kind of thing. And then I think there are ones that also claim to be mediums as well. So I mean, it's very like nuanced, right? And so I think it would be really fun to sit down with somebody like and just see what happens and then talk about it. But
yeah, like when you say psychic, I definitely put that in a much different camp than tarot card reading.
Yes.
So I feel like psychic is like I'm talking to the dead. I'm talking to spirits.
See, I feel like that's more of a medium. Okay. For me, when I think psychic, I think more like horoscope reading, kind of looking into the future.
Maybe my classifications are a little off. Because
but I also think it's muddled. I mean, it could, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if we're talking about tarot card reading, I very much lump that into horoscopes, which is like, right. With all due respect, believe in it. I think I've had a friend describe it once as like horoscopes is kind of just like a way to make sense of people and their behaviors.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, okay. That was an enlightening take for me. Cause that's a little different than like I believe this is
100% because this planet did that. Yes, I agree.
Which that's where I get a little bit like okay, but if it's a way for you to like assess people and how they behave, and it makes you make sense of behavior
of why you are the way you are.
Go for it.
Yes, and I think
not something I'm inclined to memorize. For me, that's where I get off the boat. Is like it seems like a lot of shit I gotta remember, but.
Well, and that plays very much into something that I'm very interested in that I've just kind of like scratched the surface of researching, but it's called human design. And it's basically, it's horoscopy in the sense that it does have to do with like when you were born, what day, what time. And there's basically like 4 different types of people in the world. And it's very interesting. And like, I don't want to get off on that tangent maybe just yet, because I feel like that could be an entire like meat and potatoes episode, because there's really a lot to unpack there. But I just wanted to get kind of your general take on like what you believe, what you don't believe. And I mean, for me, I definitely tend to lean on the skeptic side for sure. I don't know. I feel like it's a struggle because there's a part of me that, when it comes to like the medium stuff, there's a part of me that's very much like, I don't think I believe that people's like unfinished business ghosts are just like hanging around, like trying to communicate. I don't know. But I have this theory, and like, just stay with me. It's a little wild. But when you think about like evolution and adaptation of species, right? I've had this thought before where it's like, okay, we evolved from apes. Great. We have all of these species that have had these adaptations that have really helped them in a particular environment. Like the fact that iguanas are only aquatic in the Galapagos because they needed to be, like things like that. And I've thought about in the past, like, when is like the next species going to evolve from us? Right. And obviously, this isn't something that just happens overnight. It's like all these little changes that happen over a long period of time. And then it's like, then you have kind of this new species. And I'm like, what if psychics and mediums are like the species that's evolving from us? What if they're just people who are highly intuitive, who are using and accessing a part of their brains that we aren't? And it's like kind of it's just this like evolution adaptation of the human species into this kind of just more intuitive, more tapped in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. And I've always had very complex feelings about like people who are like really into energy and all that. Right. 'Cause that's just like, I just can't do it, Yeah. Not because like I think it's bogus or I think it's total bullshit. I mean, I also am like a little bit of a skeptic and also kind of jaded, and I also like to make fun of things. So like, it's an easy one to just be like,
it's low hanging fruit.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And like I think I also just kind of have the personality where I'm like, I don't know. I'm just kind of meh about so many things. Or I'm just like, but I also kind of like hold those people in regard where it's like, oh, I'm just not that tapped in.
Right.
But I'm also okay with not being that tapped in, So yeah, I don't really know. It's hard to say where I stand on
Well,
that,
and I feel like I go back and forth between like,
yeah, like, are you a horoscope person? I didn't know you were.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You know,
Okay,
at least I didn't think I was, okay, until I started looking into this human design thing. And then I was like,
also, human design is a horrible name for it. That sounds so fake. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying the marketing's bad.
yeah, I mean, I don't know who's doing their PR, but
Ow. Sorry, she bit me.
the dog. Oh
Sorry.
gosh, she's the first bite. No, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And, you know, I don't know. I've never been a big horoscope person. I've never really like been that into this stuff, but the more I've been like thinking about it and like exposed to a little bit of the information and kind of looking into it, I don't know. I find it very interesting. And I have always kind of, when people have told me that they've had paranormal experiences, I personally myself, as far as I know, have never had a paranormal experience. Now, of course, I've had situations where I was like, wait, what? And I just kind of like wrote it off. Now, as far when I say paranormal experience, I mean, I've never seen a ghost. I've never like had a ghost crawl into bed with me. I've never, nothing like that. And when people have had those experiences and talked to me about them, I don't know. I always like to go back to this one phenomenon, which I think is like very telling in the sense that there's all of these things in the world, these that we don't understand yet, right? And it doesn't mean it's a ghost. It doesn't mean, and the thing I always fall back on is phantom limb syndrome, which I think is so fascinating because
and that
it's
is
like
real though.
it is real, but it's also
the
like
power of your brain.
Yes, if for those of you that don't know, phantom limb syndrome is when people have a limb amputated and then they feel a sensation in that limb that no longer exists, right? They feel an itch, they feel a pain, they feel something in that limb that no longer exists. And what it really like says is that perception is everything, right? And your brain has the ability to perceive a sensation in a limb that no longer exists on your body. So our brains have the ability to perceive all of these phenomenons and things that we don't understand, right? And to me, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a ghost. But at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those areas that, I don't know. I never really thought about it that much for whatever reason until recently. And I just think it's interesting. And
yeah,
I don't know.
It's one of those things too, where it's a belief, but it's one of those many things that like we're never really gonna know for sure,
right?
If ghosts are real or not.
Probably not. Yeah.
To me, it's like it's a belief, and I respect. Hey, believe whatever the fuck you want. I don't necessarily believe that ghosts are like a ghost thing. I believe that a lot of times when people see ghosts, there is a reason that could be. Yeah. Like, I believe what they saw is real, what they felt is real.
Exactly.
But that there's probably
it's just like Ned Stark says when he says a madman sees what he sees.
Yeah. But I also would never move into a house in New England
that has ghost stories.
Will definitely absolutely be haunted.
Hell no.
I believe both at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I also believe in the possibility of them. So I'm just not gonna fuck.
And I'm not having an entity attached to me.
Yeah.
And here's quick sidebar. My only like experience with a psychic, and it was not my psychic, it was my stepmom's psychic. For whatever reason, my friend and I don't know, we got really into Ouija board in high school for like a hot minute. And we were like, this works. It's working. It works. And there was one like Saturday, we took it over to a friend's house, this guy, and we were like doing it. He was like, no, you guys are fucking moving it. You're moving it. And we're like, oh, we're not moving it. Like, we're not moving it. So then he's doing it with one of us and he's like, you're moving it. And I'm like, no, dude, no, we're not moving it. So then his mom strolls in, okay? And at this point, I think we had gone back to my friend and I doing it, and the guy who lived there was watching. His mom strolls in, and she's like, what are you guys doing? What are you up to? We're like, we're Ouija boarding, and it's totally working, but we're like trying to figure out because everybody thinks the other person's moving it. And she's like, oh, well, that's easy. And she's like, ask it what my grandpa's middle name is. So we did. There's no way that my friend could have known this. I didn't know it. It spelled it out. And this woman is looking at us, and she could not believe it. The next thing I know, this woman is 3 glasses of Pinot Grigio in. Her and her son are there talking to her dead sister. They're both crying. It got like super intense.
What?
Dude, it got super intense.
That's crazy.
And then after that, my friend and I were like hooked. Okay. We were doing it all the time. We were like talking to all these people. It was wild. It was intense. And my stepmom at the time was like, I don't know about this. Like, I feel like it's like a little weird. I just don't know. She's like, I'm going to ask my psychic about it. And this is when she was like going out.
This seems weird. Let me ask my psychic about it.
I know, but listen, okay? So she was going out with her girlfriends, and they just went for fun, you know, like a girls' night out. They would go to the psychic, and it was just like fun.
People who have psychics.
Like, yeah, and she doesn't anymore. Like, this was a long time ago.
I'm not hating on this woman. I think that is fantastic when people are like, I have a psychic.
Yeah, it was funny, like a fun thing that they would do at the time. And she's like, I'm going to ask the psychic about it. I'm like, great. So we get the 411, and the psychic's basically like, Ouija boards are dark magic. They're no good. They're controlled by the demon world. Like, it's not a legitimate medium form. Like, don't fuck with it, basically. And he was like, my best advice, he's like, burn it. So we did. That was enough for me. I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know how much of this I really believe as far as like, I mean, we were really in Flynn with this. Yeah. I mean, it was working. We like got really deep, and then that happened, and I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. Like, we're done. We're washing our hands of it, and we did. We burned it in my driveway.
This is what I don't understand about Ouija boards, though. It's not like there's one Ouija board where like the Ouija's made out of like the bone of a witch.
No, it's like, about.
But it's like but that they're just like Play School or whoever manufactures Ouija boards, that they're all magical. Like, how does it?
I don't know.
Is the Ouija
all I know, and here's the thing. All I know is that when that woman came into the room and was like, what are you guys doing? Oh, well, that's easy. What was my grandpa's middle name? And it was right. You guys, it was right. The look on this woman's face was, I've never seen anything like it. Immediately, her and her son are doing it, crying.
So her son didn't know her grandfather's middle name?
I was doing it with my friend at that point. He wasn't doing it.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was.
It was wild.
Like, how do you answer that?
I know. And then we got hooked, and we were doing it, and we were doing stuff like that where we were having like other people come in and ask questions, and it was always right, dude. I don't know. It was wild.
I know. That's the thing where it's like my brain wants to be like, there's a reasonable
I
explanation
know. Me
for
too.
everything. But then there's times where you're just like, but what is it?
But what is it? And there wasn't, and it was crazy, and that's all I'm saying. But I think it would be super fun to go do a reading.
Yeah, I'm not fucking with Ouija boards. Just to
well,
be
no,
safe,
I'm never fucking with a Ouija board again after that.
But yeah, I do a reading.
Yeah,
we should.
I think we should. Yeah,
and I don't want to do any research. I just want to go in there. And
I want to
go in
blind. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna be an episode then. Cool. Be on the lookout for that.
Sweet. All right, so next,
let's get into our grapes and gripes.
Yeah.
Okay, you start.
My gripe is gonna be. Oh, okay. Hotel bathroom doors now. I feel like any just like standard hotel you go in that isn't like a shitty Motel 6, they all have like those barn doors or like sliding doors, or it's like trying to be modern and cool, but it's all connected, like the bathroom and the bedroom are just like one, and there's like this sort of door. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I really just want there to be a room with a door that I can close and I can keep it closed. I don't want the bathroom to be connected.
We don't want to be exposed.
Yeah, especially if you're sharing with, this is 2 double queen beds. If you're sharing a room with somebody, I want to be able to poop and not have to be all
and that's how the door was. We went to a wedding and we stayed in a hotel in Louisville, and that's how the door was. It was like a modern sliding glass door.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what?
Come on.
And it was also right next to the door that led out of the hotel room. So it was almost like, I mean, I get that this is probably like small instances, but like if you're in the bathroom and the other person is opening the door to the hallway, you're like exposed then to the hallway almost.
Yeah, it's weird. And it'd be one thing if it was like a single room.
Right.
Fine. But if you're trying to sell it as a double room, I want there to be a completely
Even if
off.
it's a single room, and what if you're there with like your boyfriend? I'm sorry, but like,
no, agreed.
There should be a shred of mystery. And I know people are going to come for me and people are going to say, oh, you're not in a comfortable relationship if you get. No. I am not going into the bathroom and using the bathroom while my husband's in the shower in there. I'm not doing that. I close the door at home when I go to the bathroom. Now my kids come in. That is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. Your kids are going to come in, bust in. That's it. It's okay to have a shred of mystery.
Yeah, for sure. And like, we're in a comfortable relationship, and I was still like, I don't.
Yeah, and this was you and I.
Yeah, like
And
I would
still.
like to be able to like go take a shower, take a shit in privacy, and not have to be like, sorry, we're just like, exposed to each other's bodily functions this whole time.
And to piggyback off of that, there's no more exhaust fans in bathrooms in hotels either. Like, what is that about? And at first I thought, is it just like some kind of like engineering or like architectural thing? But no, there's a million apartment complexes all over the fucking world, and the apartments have a fan in the bathroom. So why can a hotel not? You could literally hear a pin drop. And I'm like, I'm supposed to go in here and do my business? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no. And it's also like, this isn't like a New York penthouse. I don't need it to be super modern and
it
chic.
doesn't need to be aesthetically
just
pleasing.
Need it
to close.
Work. Yeah.
Just need it to close. And also, to further expand on that, this was part of my gripe too. Okay, so with hotels, and albeit I'm not staying at the Four Seasons, I'm not staying in the penthouse, but when you have a family, you get a suite. There's no doors there either. A suite is somehow like one giant room where the bedroom is maybe like there's a little hallway or something. And it's like, I have a baby and a toddler. I'm trying to have a door that separates rooms. I'm trying to put my kids to bed. I don't want to go to bed at 7:00 when my kids go to bed. I'm trying to put them to bed. And there's no suites anymore with an actual door that closes to a bedroom. I don't understand it. And then you have most hotels that won't guarantee adjoining rooms. So it's like, how am I supposed to go and stay in a hotel with my family? If you want to compete with Airbnb and Vrbo and these places that are renting homes, you have to accommodate families. And I'm sorry, but like, I have a baby and a toddler. I need a door that closes.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it separated.
We're trying to keep it separated, and I just don't understand. It's like, why are you not accommodating to families?
Why aren't you accommodating me?
Why are you not accommodating me? I want to be accommodated.
Accommodate my ass.
That's
God
right.
Damn it.
I'm over it. Yeah, that was a piggyback gripe.
Hey, we love to see it.
We love to see it.
I guess my grape then will be my sweet little baby Sookie.
Yeah, Sookie is the grapest. The
grapiest.
Talk about the grapes scraping.
Oh, she's the grapiest of all.
Yeah.
And I love her so much already. And yeah.
She's very sweet.
I'm already that person who's like, you want to see a picture of my dog?
Oh, she will be on the Instagram. Wait, she's coming.
She's very picture
She's
worthy.
coming very soon. My grape is going to the late, great Maggie Smith.
Oh.
It's a little late, I know. I mean, absolutely wonderful. Love her. A phenomenal actress. An icon. The Dowager Countess.
It always makes the food come. That's my favorite Maggie Smith line.
She's the best. The Dowager Countess is, if not my favorite, definitely top two. I have a hard time. Okay, these are my three, I think, favorite television characters of all time. And I don't know that I can really rank them in order, but the three that I love the most, Maggie Smith as the Dowager Countess in, why can't I think of Downton Abbey? Sorry, I got there. Dowager Downton. It was confusing me, but yes. The best. The comic relief. The absolute queen. The icon. Love her in that. Love Tyrion Lannister. I read the books, so he was my favorite character in Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, I see. I was like, wait, did Maggie Smith beat Tyrion
No,
Lannister
I'm just saying
what?
my three.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Yeah.
my top three. And then Don Draper. So it's like, those are my top three, like, television characters of all time. And
It's a good
I mean,
spread.
yeah, the Dowager Countess is up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hard for me to rank them. I mean, it's kind of apples to oranges because they're all such different roles, but she's wonderful. I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, she was awesome. I mean, I wish I knew more of her roles when she was younger because I feel like all the Maggie
Secret
Smith-
Garden.
Yeah, that's true. But even like young, you know, because I feel like I know Maggie Smith just as like
As
a
an-
much older actress.
As an old lady, kind of.
And
Yeah.
I feel like when she passed, people were, you know, doing like in memoriams and posting
Yeah.
pictures of her like as a very young woman. And it's always so fun to see 'cause she looks so beautiful and young and so different from what I know her as.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd love to do some deep dives into Maggie Smith and see
And
what she,
not
when she
to,
was
like,
younger.
Tie this all into psychics, but
She was a psychic.
well, literally, and this is a true story, you guys. So I very recently with my 5-year-old we watched The Secret Garden. Okay. And she, for whatever reason, was just like obsessed with the housekeeper in The Secret Garden, just like loved it. And she's she has this book about the human body. And there's this one section where it talks about just kind of like the most like extreme human bodies. So it was like the tallest person. One of them was the oldest person. And I assume it's still, this book's not that old. So it was this woman named Jean Calment, I think, who was a woman who lived in France, and she was like 122. Wow. And she's the oldest woman on record. And so she just like got really into like asking me how old people were and all this stuff. The day before she asked me, she said, "Is the housekeeper in The Secret Garden going to live to 100? That's like kind of her thing right now, where she wants to know, like, is this person going to live to 100? And, I explained to her, I'm like, we don't know. You never know, like, how long people are going to live. And she asked me the day before,
That's a
is
little
the
creepy.
housekeeper in The Secret Garden going to live to 100? And I was
So-
like, I don't know. We'll see. The next day, it popped up that she had died.
Whoa.
And I was
So
just
your
like,
5-year-old's
what
a
is
psychic.
this sorcery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, it was... Anyway.
Sometimes kids' intuition is just like right on point.
Yeah. I think that probably wraps us up for today. We are
Yeah.
definitely going to schedule some kind of reading. We'll look into people in our area, see what we're vibing with. We'll schedule the reading, and then we will talk about it on a future episode.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for being here,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Love you, besties.
Bye.